For years, the purpose of formal education has been to equip students and young people for the ever-changing world. Unfortunately, however, the ever-changing world has new things like AI, and we have sacrificed things in our education like creativity, individuality, and lots of the other fun parts that we really should pour more time into. So, if you're asking me, the CEO of a school group, what then do I think is the purpose of formal education, I would tell you that my purpose of education is this: to create a lifelong love for learning. And how we can do this is by being adaptable. So what is adaptability to me? Adaptability is getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And if you'll humor me, I did all of these doodles myself. So getting comfortable being uncomfortable really has to do with neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to adapt and grow. In order to do this, we have to try new things, we have to fail at things, and we have to allow ourselves to be kids again for our adult listeners here today. Now, my adult listeners also don't like it when I say things like this because that means we're going to be bad at things, and who likes being bad at things? Something I love about kids and this field of education is that kids, no matter the skill level, there's a part where they just go after their passions. But there's a certain turning point, and that is an opportunity for growth and a call to action for us as educators to catch that and say, actually, it's all right. So what I'm really here to talk about is a journey that I've been on with how I've had to adapt to many different things. I'm going to take a very physical example of yoga as a way that I've had to adapt. Here's my beautiful drawing. So I heavily relied on my natural athleticism to get me through quite a bit of my life. I played volleyball, I did all of those things, I skated, and I just thought, you know what, I don't need to work out because I was young. And so one day I decided, I'll go to yoga, how hard can it be? And it really bothered me how absolutely terrible I was at it, and there was no amount of willpower that could make me do the splits just because I felt like it. So my arms felt like noodles, I was suffering, and there was a part of me that said, you should just stop. You're bad at this, it's embarrassing, you don't know the names of any poses, and you should quit. Now, the part of me that knew that adaptability was important said, you know what, your body will eventually adapt to this very, very hot room, and I'm going to try my best. So I stayed after class every single day, day after day, until I decided that I was going to get very good at it. At first out of spite, to be honest, but then I actually really fell in love with the practice, how it really helped me to understand the difference between being uncomfortable and being in pain. Any athlete in here knows that there's that point where you have to train to failure, and you're never going to grow unless you get to that point. So this was my gateway exercise, and now I actually teach that class, the very same class that I was suffering in. So it was a very full circle moment for me when they asked me to teach it. So that's a physical example of adaptability, right? How my body had to adapt to doing hard things. But we all know that true adaptability is in the mind. The growth mindset versus the fixed mindset is very crucial in this, and it's really important to water the growth mindset by saying things like, I can do this, I can do hard things, and cut out the negative self-talk with yourself and with others. So I have also learned the skill of adaptability from my family, who has taught me it in a number of ways. I had to do my parents justice by not making them stick figures here. So here are two people who had just graduated college, relatively broke, and very, very scrappy. So they said to themselves, what can we do to earn a living? So my dad knew how to speak English, and my mother could sell water to a fish. Combining these skills, they decided to start teaching English to college students out of the basement of a house with very little money between them. They could only afford a whiteboard and markers. But any challenge that came their way, they adapted to it by saying, okay, how can we spin this? So instead of sitting on the floor because they didn't have chairs, my mom said, we're doing this new trendy Japanese style learning. Anything that came in their way, they found a way to adapt to it. And they taught me the same. They taught me that there is no job that is too big or too small. So if I'm tasked with something that I honestly don't know if I can do, I will find a way to learn how to do it. If there's somewhere I know I'm lacking, I know that over time, it won't be instant, but I can learn how to do it. In the same way, there's no job too small. So if there's something that seems like it's not in my job description, I never think that it's beneath me. If I see trash on the floor, it's still my job to pick it up. So everyone here has things that make up their identity. And sometimes it can put you in a box. This is a sad person in a box because they feel like, okay, maybe the box is made out of subconscious sides. Like, I am a good daughter. I am the president of a school. I am an athlete, or all of these things. Then we start to fill in the gaps in our brain saying, well, I'm an athlete, so I can't also be an artist. Or I'm a good daughter, so I can't also have opportunities and ideas of my own. And I do feel like this is where we as educational institutions are very guilty for not encouraging this more. That's why it's important to provide opportunities for students to get out of the box. Now, I'm not saying scrap the whole box, all the sides, and throw everything away, because you shouldn't just reinvent yourself for the sake of reinventing yourself. But there are natural passions that people are drawn to that they don't even allow themselves to do. So what I'm saying is maybe we take the sides of the box and we deconstruct it into a gateway. And not only that, but by being adaptable, we will acquire tools to continue to build more and more gateways for ourselves. And even though I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who works in education, K through 12, I'm also speaking to you adults. Because really, I would argue that it's more important for adults to keep pursuing new things. It keeps us young, it keeps us in the loop with our young people, and between the ages of 0 and 6, students will really mirror what their parents are doing. So the learned behavior of I'm going to quit because I'm not good at something is something that the parents can actually do something about. So I will close with this. It's a call to action for students to look within themselves, and any passion that you have, just allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to be guided by the compass of your passions, but also know that it's going to take a lot of work, and the discipline behind it is what's going to make it the most rewarding. Now, to the adults in the audience, I'd like to also ask you for something. When you see this inkling of passion for the young people in your life, it is our responsibility and our honor to be able to nurture it as much as possible. Even if it's something that you might not want for the child in your life, if they really want to pursue it, it is really our passion and our responsibility to give that to them. But not only that, but can we do that by example, by trying new things for ourselves and following our own passions? I think we deserve it as adults as well, and I think it's something that our children will look up to and see. There's a saying that says that fortune favors the bold and luck favors the prepared, but I'd like to add today that opportunity favors the adaptable. Thank you.